Hello everyone. My name is Strangely. I'm here with a co-host, you could say so, a friend. Say hello, Coco.
Hello.
I've recently been seeing some videos of anti-furries and furries in general. I
Mhm.
don't know if you have to on YouTube Shorts, for example.
Yeah, it can be out there a lot.
So, I've come to realize that the hate on furries is kinda unnecessary. I'm not taking parts here. I'm not a furry, and I don't know if you are.
I am not a furry.
Okay. But yeah, I'm not taking parts here, but the hate is kinda unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that the hate around furry should be such a big thing.
What is your general thought on furries?
Um, I think furries personally, they're not that bad. Like I've known some, they're pretty cool. I think that they get hate for like bad people in the community, like zoophiles.
Yeah, those are present too, sadly. But on the every community has its bad apples. It's a
Y-
rule and will always be applied. Even for children's show, there's always.
Yeah, I think that everyone doesn't look at it as if it's just. I think everyone looks at it as every furry is a
Yeah.
whatchamacallit, a zoophile, when
Mm-hmm.
that's not really the case. It's more on there might be a little bit more than like if you see bad people in a community, then you look at like zoophiles in a furry community. I think that these zoophiles might be more than there might be bad people in a good community. But I don't think that the entire community should be hit like it is for just because it's something they like, and it's not every person in there.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Like, there's always gonna be some bad people. For example, in this community is the zoophiles, but people hate mostly the anti-furry community is just a community for hating on furries. Even the innocent
Yeah, it's
ones that haven't done anything.
yeah, I think anti-furries, I don't think that they're doing any good because they're seeing the community as a whole as a bad thing when
Mhm.
it's not really. It's more on just people trying to like express what they like doing.
Yeah, like I can understand some people might found it weird because why you're dressing up like an animal, but hating on it just because there's bad apples in it is not right.
Yeah, which
Would be the same thing
pe-
for a rushed example here. Would be the same thing if I started hating on blacks because they have most no, not most, but some of them are criminals. They did crimes, and I started hating on all the black community. That's wrong, for sure.
yeah, and like you could argue like, oh, if you're allowed to just express what you like, then I should be able to express what I like. But you're not
Yeah,
really expressing what you like. You're more on trying to trying to think of a better word, but you're trying to hate on a group of people that have done nothing wrong, and
yeah,
you're pointing everyone as if they're bad when it's not everyone.
yeah. And I've come to think of this, talking this about you, because I just saw a simple video. It was a guy wearing a full-on military costume and say, "Ah, I
Hmm.
saw a cute furry, and I'm gonna become a furry," and said switching sides, and then he appears with a persona. The comments were all hating on him because of that.
I don't think that they should hate on him because it's just something that he enjoys doing. Like you can like you can hate on people or not hate on Jesus, my bad. You could like you can do something that although might not be like normal for it, you can do it and it still be
Hmm.
an okay thing.
Yeah, I mean, because the normal thing normal word we use is just normality, which is what most people do. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like something that comes to mind to me is the Islamic countries. For them, it's normal to kill gay people. That's their
Yeah.
normality, but it's not morally right for us. For them, it is. It's just a different
No.
culture.
Like where like in the place that I live, it is a very like normal thing that people like don't really like other races. It's not a right thing, but it's a thing that just happens normally around where I live.
Bros
And me
Texan.
personally, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. So you could say you're not normal because you don't follow the normality.
Yeah.
So yeah. And another thing I wanted to talk about you is if you know the difference between a furry and a therian. I don't know if you saw
Um,
there's lots of difference.
I've s- I've seen stuff of that. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. I've seen it and it looks similar, but I'm not too sure exactly. What my this might not be right, but I'm just gonna take a wild swing at it. It might just be like furries could just be dressing up in fursuits, while Therians might be more acting like an actual animal.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what I
so
might think it
I've
is, but
come
I'm no-
to understand that there's there's lots of difference. Furries like to dress up as their personas, but they don't actually identify as animals. It's just a role play they do,
yeah,
you know. Therans is that they. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right either. I'm just saying it's what they do. I'm completely in the middle here. Therians, they act as animals. They have a spiritual connection, at least what they say, to the animals themselves. They could be reincarnations. They could be possessed to somewhat like it, you know.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
So yeah, there's that difference. Furries aren't. They don't actually identify the most part as animals, as Therians do for the most part. And I think
yeah, and
go on.
go ahead.
There you
No,
go.
you go. um, I think it's kind of weird, off topic, but I think that even in like an anti-furry community, I feel like they're not even hating, like they don't even know what they're really talking about because
Hmm.
think that they're because most time they're not really even hating on furries and fursuits. They more on actually hate on Therians, and
Yeah.
it's weird because they go out and try to claim that they hate this, yet they don't really even know what exactly they're
Yeah,
hating.
that's one thing that happens very often in out of this even the furry Therian community, but even in other communities that clash together, one hates on the other without understanding it first. Like you
Yeah,
can't
cause like
hate on something you don't understand or that you don't make part of. If you don't make part of it, just don't make part of it.
yeah, that can happen a lot with like games or even music a lot.
It happens
Like
also with
me
politics.
and one of my friends, we have very different music taste, but we both have listened to each other's music taste to see whether or not we actually like it or not or agree with
Yeah.
it or not.
Hmm. I mean, the hating without understanding happens also in politics, which don't want to enter here because I'm not a
Yeah,
political channel and I'm 14. I'm not interested in that.
nor am I. I will just say this. I think politics can get very messy, and it is a lot of fighting when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's right fighting for what you believe in. I'm not taking part here. Fight for what you believe, but
Yeah,
try to understand the other side. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but try to understand it so you can better have arguments.
yeah. Because if you go into something and you try to attempt to have an argument, you won't. If you don't know what you're arguing about, then you're gonna lose that argument.
That of course, and it connects to the anti-furry community. They don't wanna listen. They just hate. Like if a furry tries to
Yeah,
explain to them, it also happens a lot. I can bring here examples because I didn't found any, but there should be examples of furries trying to explain themselves and not being listened to.
yeah. And it it mainly comes down to because the people don't want to listen,
Yeah,
and they don't put into effort to actually listen.
yeah, that is just a sad thing to me.
Yeah,
Like if you wanna, I mean, going back to what you said before that, if they doing what they like, I should also be free to do what I like. I kinda agree with that, but when what you like depends on hating on the other side, it's just not even freedom of speech. It's just hate speech. You know, there's
yeah.
a lot of that discussion over there on the US, right?
No.
No, never heard about
Wait, what is it? Sorry.
it. We were talking about how the freedom of speech can become hate speech, and that's
Oh, yeah.
disgusting on the US.
I think that people take the word freedom of speech and turn it into something that it's not really.
Hmm.
Because they like take freedom of speech but then proceed to go and hate on all these different things.
Yeah. There's that thing that too much freedom can cause no freedom at all.
Yeah.
Germany is an example. It's a practical example of that.
Yeah.
If we take back how the World War II started, or what the politics that were in it, Hitler just got into power because he had freedom to do it, and then he continued to take freedom from the others to give even lives. That's wrong.
Yeah, because to basically he tried to take he tried to make everyone the same.
Literally, yes. Even canceling out the Jews, the blacks, the gays. He did it. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Giving too much freedom can cause to have no freedom at all.
Yeah, because if there's so much freedom, then it can lead to someone abusing said freedom and using it for the wrong purposes.
Hmm. Yeah, that's sadly what happened. And it's kind of blooming out more with the anti-furry community.
Yeah, you can also see that in like a lot of different places. You can see it in like think about like gangs or think about it like neo-Nazis. They have so much freedom that they can get away with these different things,
Yeah,
and it's to the point to where it is harming other people.
yeah. I have the what I think, and here is my personal thoughts. I don't know what you think, but I think that freedom is okay until it doesn't mess with the freedom of the other, like hating on one's. Uh, Practical example, we're talking about the furry community and the anti-furry community. The furry community has the freedom to do what they want until the legal boundaries, of course, of zoophiles. Zoophiles are wrong.
Yeah.
They're doing something bad that's illegal, and that's too much freedom. But the anti-furry community is completely formed on too much freedom to hate on someone else. I mean, could you could
Yeah.
argue it's free again? You could argue it's freedom of speech. It's yeah, freedom of speech, and there's a small line between hate speech and freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's like you give someone the freedom to say all this and then they abuse that freedom.
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, again, I don't know if you agree with me, but there should be limits. Even if you say, we are on a freedom country where you can say whatever you want. I think that's to a certain extent wrong because giving that much freedom is gonna take others' freedom because I gonna have the freedom to take yours. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
because
Go on.
if you have so much freedom, then you can take away other people's freedom with that.
Hmm. This is wrong.
And that's the that's where you need to know the boundary of like how much freedom should you give people.
Yeah. Like how we started saying, we don't want to mess with politics, and now we're talking about freedom of speech. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of connected to the point we are, to the argument we're talking about, but I don't wanna went too deep in it because it's a difficult thing that it's being discussed all over the world almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I asked you already, but what are oh yeah I did. But what are your thoughts on Therians more specifically?
Um
The ones that
I think that I think that as long as they don't push it too far, I think they're fine. Like if just abiding by what's like right to do or whatever.
mhm,
But as long as they don't like do it to the point to where it's illegal or anything, I think it's perfectly fine.
like zoophilia. That's the too far point.
Yeah, because I feel like Therians, and this might be just stereotyping,
Hmm.
and I don't want to be wrong here, but I feel like that Therians can have more of a chance to be a zoophile than it does a furry because I think since
Yeah,
Therians
they could have
go
the
more
excuse of
into
they could have the excuse of identifying as an animal and doing it.
yeah,
There's
because I think that
go on.
they have since they see it differently as a furry would, since they see themselves basically as animals, I think that they would be more prone to trying to be even more like an animal and doing
Hmm.
things like that.
Yeah, I mean there's a whole lot of things that if people can identify as anything, then the legal boundaries don't stop existing.
Yeah.
A pedophile could identify as a child and do it and come out without being punished.
Yeah. Which obviously that's not legal.
Yeah, of course. But if he says I am a child, the point is that it's becoming so ridiculous that one could say I am anything and no one's gonna no one can do anything about it because they would be taking out the person's freedom.
Yeah, and again, it's just you need to know the boundaries of what you should and shouldn't be able to do.
Hmm. I
And
agree
I
with
think
that.
it's about finding that line of, or when it comes to being like a Therian, they need to know what line they should cross. And I feel like it's a pretty obvious line.
Yeah.
And I know in their eyes it might look or be different, but it's something that they need to be able to control.
Hmm. I agree with you. So yeah, that's kind of all the points I wanted to make here. That the anti-furry community has too much freedom, but so does parts of the furry community and Therian, the zoophiles.
Yeah.
But the we take here the mostly the anti-furry community because they are based only on too much freedom, on hating on others.
Yeah, I think that the anti-furry community it's not a thing at all because it is just like a thing of pure hate, and
Mhm.
I don't think there should be something like that because it's just not good in general.
Yeah, it just causes sorry, it just causes more trouble.
Okay.
Causes, I mean, if the furries are doing their thing, they're doing nothing bad to you, and they're just chilling, then let them
Yeah.
be chilling. Also for the Therians, but if they start to do illegal things, zoophilia, then that's wrong, and they should be punished for that. I agree with the punishment of the right type of punishment.
Yeah, as long as the punishment, or I feel like they shouldn't hate on so many different people as they should target they should target the individual people and not the group as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent. But yeah, thanks for being here. Unless you want to say something else, we should be done.
I don't think I got anything else to say.
Okay, let me just. Well, thank you for coming here, and I hope we can have these discussions another time or other times.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
see you around. Talk to you later, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
So, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you for looking this up. And this is my first episode of a podcast or just discussion thing I want to create. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. I would love to see your opinions on this, on the whole anti-furry community. And thanks for being here.